Kia ora, as I've been introduced, my name is Meyer, and I'm very nervous and excited to be the first presenter tonight in Pecha. Last year, I put my comedy dance troupe, the Real Hot Bitches, on ice and headed to Aruba in the Caribbean. And here my husband, my 1-year-old son, and I purchased a 40-foot steel ketch. And our plan was to sail it back through the Panama Canal, across the Pacific, and arrive safely in Brisbane. Now, our voyage was eventful, but we didn't make it across the Pacific. In fact, we got to know the US Coast Guard as we were languishing off the Galapagos Islands. This and other events were deemed dramatic enough to warrant Random House asking me to publish a book. And in May this year, Sea Fever, From First Date to First Mate, was published. And as an aside, my new novel, will be published next year. But when I'm not writing, or bitching, or being a mum, I'm the marketing manager at the City Gallery, Wellington. But before all of that, I grew up in landlocked Palmerston North, where the closest I came to the sea was drinking Bacardi breezes. So tonight I'm going to pitch a kucha about rum and the high seas, and I'm just going to move this a little bit closer. There you go. Okay, hit it, Fabio. Don't talk to me about the naval tradition. It's nothing but rum, sodomy, and the lash. So said the First Lord of the Admiralty in 1911, who was, of course, the one, the only Winston Churchill. This was all I really knew about sailing, and it didn't sound very appealing. Now, I'm no Churchill scholar, I'm no sodomite, I get seasick, and I don't possess the patience of a saint. But when it comes to lashings of rum, well, I can be persuaded. And it all begins with this. A girl meets a sailor. They drink copious amounts of rum, they fall in love, and with a way, hey, and up she rises. The captain has his first mate, there are rings on their fingers, bells in the cockpit, a firm hand on the tiller, and 9 months later, a cabin boy. But Kelvin doesn't quite cut it. We dreamed of wide oceans, of endless summers, of nights so warm you don't even think of taking a cardi. We dreamed of sailing with phosphorescence in our wake and the velvet skies aloft. We dreamed of rum and more. Cue slide. The Beach Boys sang to me, siren-like, Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take ya. 500 days passed, we scrimped and saved. The captain rolled up his sleeves and washed dishes at Martin Bosley's. The first mate helped grow Wellington, and then the cabin boy, who had just learnt to walk, we took him halfway around the world and put him on the swaying deck of a 40-foot steel ketch called Summertime. The heat was fierce, the work dirty, and after a morning scrubbing the decks or painting or worse, cleaning the head, the only way to up spirits was the dispensing of the rum ration at 12 p.m. Now, this is an interesting rum fact, number 1. The rum ration is a naval tradition which involves giving each sailor 70 millilitres of rum each day at midday. And in the Caribbean, see, he didn't get his rum ration, in the Caribbean the rum is cheap, but not all of it is smooth. Like this day. We step into a tiny room. A tasting table seduces us with all kinds of rum. We raise a plastic thimble to our lips and expect the smooth liquid to slide down our throats. But within seconds, we've turned bright red and are searching for a discreet place to spit. This stuff is like paint stripper, like something you would lather on your legs in the 1980s. And taking a child sailing is risky business. Here we go, risky business. Death traps lurk everywhere. The biggest risk, and the one that was always uppermost in my mind, is falling overboard and drowning in David Jones's locker. I didn't want to be singing 15 men on a dead man's chest, yo-ho, and a bottle of rum. I wanted rum, though, when we ran aground in uncharted waters. "Is there any rum left?" Ross, my husband, asked as he wiped blood away from his head. "About 2 nips." "Pour it, baby." Lord Byron summed it up nicely when he said, "There's nought, no doubt, so much the spirit calms as rum and true religion." I can take or leave the true religion, but the rum, you know. Interesting rum fact number 2. When Darryl Zoot was bitten on the penis by a deadly snake while relieving himself in the bush, he did what any self-respecting bogan would do. He slapped a soothing cold can of rum and coke on his knob. Back to the voyage. I like a little treat at the end of the day, so I devised a cocktail of my own. It's called the Kuna Colada. It features lime, rum and fresh coconut water and is named in honour of the indigenous Kuna people whose island we were anchored in Leof. Okay, go faster. And yes, I did prance about in gold togs. And you can't fight your nature. And yes, I do like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain and the feel of the ocean and the taste of champagne. And on the subject of rain, anyhow, the tropical electrical storm, or tormenta electra, is like the heavens short-circuiting. Massive forks of lightning exploding all around you. I was actually reminded of Tash Tego in Moby Dick when he said, "What's the use of thunder? We don't want thunder, we want rum! Give us a glass of rum!" Like Tash Tego, when it started thundering, I wanted rum. And when we launched ourselves into the unshored, unharboured immensity of the Pacific Ocean, we were ecstatic. We sat on the deck and looked at the 500 litres of water, the 400 litres of fuel. We knew that stowed below were 2,000 cans of tomatoes, 1 million kilos of rice, 20 million litres of milk and a barrel of rum, and we were prepared. But 6 days later, things took a turn for the worse, and if you buy my book, you can find out how bad things got. It's available at all good bookshops. Okay, rum fact number 3. Lord Nelson, commander of the British Navy, died in battle, but he wanted to be buried on land. So, his crew pickled his body in a cask of rum and brandy. But however, this same crew kept sneakily drinking in an attempt to imbibe some of his awesome fighting power. Yeah. Unfortunately, our time on the high seas was cut short. Back in Panama, we found comfort in 2-gallon bottles of $12 Ron Abuelo, or grandfather rum. This kindly gentleman made his appearance punctually at 5 p.m, but while the rum ration was generous, our spirits were very low. So was Churchill right? Is it rum, sodomy and the lash? Well, a real hot bitching lashing never hurt anyone, and I prefer a tot to a bot. So, to quote Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.